Have you ever been watching a game and one team is way ahead and you just get that feeling they're going to blow it? Well, we're going to break down why that happens. We're going to get into the psychology of why a big lead might just be the most dangerous place to be in all of sports.
So let me just start by asking you a question. What do you think is the most fragile, the most breakable thing in sports? Is it an athlete's ankle? A winning streak? What is it?
The answer, and it sounds kind of crazy, is a big lead. Yeah, that comfortable cushion, the thing that should basically guarantee a win, is actually the very thing that can lead to a total collapse. But why? How does that even work?
Okay, I want you to picture this. You're in the championship. You've been playing great, taking chances, being aggressive, and it's all working. You've built up a solid lead.
Everything is going your way. You can almost taste the victory. And right at that moment, this powerful psychological force starts to kick in, pulling you in the exact opposite direction of where you want to go. And this has nothing to do with being tired. It's all about a weird little quirk in how our brains are wired, something that was first really explained by something called prospect theory.
To really get what's happening in that athlete's head, we need to talk about this one core idea. It's this concept that, for us humans, the pain of a loss feels way, way more intense than the pleasure of a gain.
Think about it in simple terms. Finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk feels pretty good, right? It's a nice little bonus to your day. But losing a $20 bill that was already in your wallet, that feels absolutely awful. It stings. The pain of losing it is so much stronger than the joy of finding it, even though we're talking about the exact same amount of money.
And this isn't just a hunch. It's a well-documented cognitive bias. It's called loss aversion. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, who were real pioneers in this field, discovered that the psychological pain of losing is about twice as powerful as the pleasure you get from gaining the very same thing. Twice as powerful.
This famous quote from Daniel Kahneman just nails it perfectly. Losses loom larger than gains. Our brains are hardwired to avoid losing what we have more than they are to go out and get something new. So, once you have a lead in a game, what did you just get? You got something you can now lose.
And this is where everything changes. The moment you get that lead, your whole mindset can flip. You're not chasing anymore. You're the one being chased. And that completely changes how you approach the game.
I mean, just look at the difference. When you're playing to win, you're on the attack. You're looking for opportunities. You're taking smart risks. But as soon as that fear of losing the lead creeps in, you switch to playing not to lose. All your focus shifts to avoiding mistakes. You get defensive, you get conservative. You're not trying to score anymore. You're just trying not to mess up.
And you can see this so clearly in the real world. Tons of studies on professional tennis players show this exact thing. When they're behind in a set, they serve harder. They go for more aggressive shots. But as soon as they get the lead, their serve speed drops, they aim for the middle of the court, and they basically just try to keep the ball in play, almost waiting for their opponent to make a mistake.
And hey, this isn't just a tennis thing, it's everywhere. A really famous study looked at data from the PGA Tour and found that even the greatest golfers, including Tiger Woods, are affected by this. Statistically, they're better at making a putt for a birdie, which is a gain, than they are at making a putt of the exact same distance to save par, which is about avoiding a loss, avoiding a bogey. That pressure to not lose a stroke literally makes them worse.
Okay, so the person in the lead starts playing cautiously. But that move doesn't happen in a vacuum. It actually swings open a huge psychological door for their opponent. This is where you see the momentum start to shift.
So as the leader tightens up and plays safe, the whole feeling of the match just flips. The player who's behind, who really has nothing left to lose, is now completely free to just go for it. All that pressure that was on them, it's now been transferred to the person who's ahead.
This is what we all feel as fans, right? We call it psychological momentum. It's that feeling you can almost touch, that sense that the tide is turning. The player who's coming back feels their confidence growing with every good play, while the leader starts to see every little mistake as proof that their worst fears are coming true.
And look at what this actually does to the chances of winning. Sure, having a lead is still better than not having one. But the instant that mindset shifts from playing to win to playing not to lose, those odds start to tick down. The lead starts to fall apart in their head long before the score actually starts to change.
So it kind of sounds like blowing the lead is inevitable, right? Like it's just human nature. But it's not. The greatest champions are the ones who know how to close. So how on earth do they do it?
Well, here's the secret. It's not that champions are somehow immune to this. They feel that same pull of loss aversion, that same fear. The big difference is they've trained themselves to recognize that feeling when it starts and to actively fight back against it.
And that training builds a few key things. It builds incredible mental toughness. It builds resilience. Their self-confidence doesn't shatter after one mistake. And maybe most importantly, they train themselves to stay focused on the process. Like, what is the very next thing I need to do right, instead of getting overwhelmed by the thought of the final outcome.
So when you boil it all down, it's this. The absolute best of the best understand that the most dangerous thing you can possibly do with the lead is to get timid and try to protect it. They make a deliberate, conscious choice to stay aggressive, to keep doing the exact things that got them the lead in the first place, because they know that backing off is pretty much an invitation for a comeback.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. Because this whole idea is so much bigger than just sports. It applies everywhere, in our jobs and our personal goals. So it's worth asking yourself, in the parts of your life where you have an advantage, where you're ahead, are you still pushing forward, still playing to win, or have you slipped into playing not to lose? It's a pretty powerful question to think about.